Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got an assembly for you with this little guy right here. This is the Artisan Cutlery Arroyo. They're designed by Dirk Pinkerton, who is a person who we've seen around the knife community for a while. Bounced around from a few different makers. Holy Loctite, that's a thing. All right, so, and yeah, we're going to take it apart. Okay, before we go any further, though, we are roughly centered, maybe favoring lock side tiny bit. Action's good to go. No play. So we want to get it back in that position. But what I'm noticing here is that the pivot just doesn't want to turn. This leads me to have two questions. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I can go back and forth like this, but it appears that the pivot is keyed. Like this, if I were a betting man, this pivot is shaped probably D-shaped or something like that, or maybe there's a ridge underneath there, and it is Loctited shut. So what I'm going to do to avoid or to work with this is a ratchet set. And by the way, if you're curious about any of the tools I'm using for this or any other disassembly, go to nickshabazz.com/tools. But I'm going to take out my little ratchet, take out a T8 bit here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attack this guy from the backside. And my goal here is just to put this in place here, and this gets me a little bit more torque. So, step one, you do not want to just go to town, put a bunch of gronk on it there. So I just tried it from the backside. I don't actually know whether the backside is the side that is willing to turn or not. So I don't want to really give it too much of a push. Now I'm going to try the front side. Okay, the front side just yielded. So that was a really important lesson there. If you are ever twisting on something and it doesn't want to twist, stop. And then flip it over. Swip, flop, flip it over. Yeah, just like that. First you swip, then you flop, then you flip it over. And then, hopefully, you'll be able to find a side that is a little bit better. And that was a little bit too much torque required to be comfortable with this little driver here. But, you know, and that is all because, yeah, there is a freaking abundance of thread locker up in this. So, we've now got that closed up. And actually, I should be able to put this whole set away. Although, actually, where there's thread locker, there's probably more. So let's go on ahead and try the back screws here before we go any further. Oh, that's a lanyard hole post. Nice. Appreciate that. I appreciate that because, well, means you don't have to worry about a lanyard hole, right? It's not messing up the design. All right, so there we go. These guys came out with relatively little problem, and we are good to go. Let me put away my this little guy here, and then we will take it from there. Anyways, so we've now dealt with what was not a lot of thread locker, but a little bit of it. And everything is back to normal and happy. This is sort of lifting off. Okay, we've got the micarta loose. Backside of it still looks like micarta. That's nice. This is not wanting to come loose, so what I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do is use another one of my tools here. This is a spudger tool from iFixit. It's got a nice little bit of sort of ramp to it, so I can do this. And just slightly convince, yeah, okay, we're popping loose. And we're done. Beautiful. And this isn't going to scuff the finish. This is one of those tools that I just love. It's dumb, and I've gone through a few of them because they're plastic, right? They're designed to kind of break apart before the item does, but still, it's just a nice tool. It's a good thing to have around for these things. You can check out that. I think I already did the nickshabazz.com/tools plug, but I'm going to say it again because every damn disassembly, someone's like, oh, what was that screwdriver you were using? Dude, it's just nickshabazz.com/tools. Anyways, I digress. So, yeah, whoa, okay. So, the reason I just said, whoa, okay, let me pop this bearing out. Look at this freaking lock face. Let me zoom in here. What we have here, that's from my cleaning cloth. But you can see here, when they ground the lock face on this guy, when they put this up against the grinding wheel to do that, there is a massive burr left on the backside of it here. Does that actually matter? I don't believe it does. No, that shouldn't have a strong effect, or any effect for that matter, on the lock face itself. That said, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to knock it down. I'm going to use this Spyderco the medium grit bench stone here. And I am just going to try and knock off that burr real quick. Just because it's not a great thing, right? I just as soon break it off or grind it off. So that way, if nothing else, it's not going to cut me as I'm taking this guy apart. And with that, I was able to just knock that someplace between a burr and a wire edge. But either way, and one more pass. Yeah, beautiful. Cleaned up. Wow, this has become a showcase of tools I don't always use during disassembly. But anyways, oh God, the Spyderco stone might not be in that video. Anyways, so we've gone ahead and we've cleaned that up, and we actually see, by the way, a little bit of heat discoloration there, implying that this was ground dry, and perhaps ground a little bit on the hot side. So, it's not necessarily amazing, but the heat treatment is most important out by the edge, rather than out by the lock face. But okay, and who knows, that might make things run a little smoother, although I don't actually think it will. So, at the very least, one of the joys of taking a knife apart and cleaning it up is that you can give a damn, right? You can do all of those little details that might not matter, but make it feel like, you know, hey, A, this knife is mine, and B, this knife is really, it's as good as it can be. Okay, that's a shame. So, take a look at this. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit here. Look at that. What you're seeing right there, I'll put right next to it here, a set of balls. Those are little indentations, basically, where the bearings have pressed into the steel. And we'll see probably an equivalent set on the other side. Yeah, we do. See? This is an area where the bearings have pressed into the steel. Maybe during, and honestly, this came right to me from the factory. I haven't done any like hard use or anything. I've flipped the damn thing, but it looks like maybe they over tightened. Like somebody had something trapped inside the, how do I say it? Somebody had like some piece of gunk or something like that under here. They over-tightened the whole thing, and they did so at an angle, so we ended up pressing in this area here. And that's not necessarily amazing. And the reason that this is not a good thing, and the reason that I tend to be disappointed when I see something like that, is that it will make the action less smooth. Because you're instead, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, oh, I should zoom back out. It's kind of like you're driving along a road with speed bumps, right? Or with a bunch of dips in it, right? It's going to slow you down. Or at least if you don't, you're going to be, it's going to be a bumpy time. And so as a result, although my hope is that as you use this guy more, or as somebody uses this guy more, it will end up being a little less bumpy in there. Basically, instead of having a bunch of little, hey everybody, instead of having a bunch of little bumps in there, what you will end up with is a single depression, basically. Much like 2020, after a while, all the bumps turn into one single depression. Wow, that was too, that was too real. Anyways, I digress. But you'll stop seeing the bumps, and instead you'll just get yourself, as you tighten the pivot over time, you will end up with a single groove in there, and that'll smooth it out pretty naturally too. But for the moment, if we stand up feeling a little bumpitude in there, that's not because of the, bearings or anything like that. It's just because of those bumps that are put in there already. The bearings rolling across them. So, okay. Anyways, wow, I'm sorry. That 2020 joke was sort of... This is the stuff I shouldn't say out loud. People always ask me, how do you write your script? Like, you think I script this? No. This is just what happens. And yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's put this down here. Oh, damn it. I forgot that. I should put some lubrication here in the detent ball hole. What that's going to do is distribute itself along the detent ball path and smooth things out a little bit further as you are closing the knife. Always a beautiful thing. Put a little bit here. To be fair, that wasn't a bad line. Anyways, I need to stop digressing. I've been doing too many videos here today. It's a Saturday, which is very often my day for the channel. And I'm trying to catch up a little bit because I've been getting my assets handed to me at work, so to speak. And, yeah, that's been... So it's good to be back, but... Anyways, so let's go ahead and finish putting this guy back together. Do I have all the parts in there? I appear to. That's good. Okay, next step, well, I'm going to go ahead and put in the pivot. Pivot is a T8 screw here, by the way. And here is my thread locker using blue Loctite on a stick. Works pretty well. There we go. My finger is now Loctited. Good to know. Got to avoid putting it into any screwed holes for a little while. Then leaving it there to set over the next 24 hours or so. It would be awkward, actually, for a variety of reasons. But okay, I'm actually... Whoa there. Something's messed up. What's messed up here? I think it's just I need to tighten things down a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and tighten things down. The reason I closed the blade there is just so I'm not going to, you know, when the knife is locked open, there's pressure against the lock bar, and so the lock bar might not end up in the proper position. I'm sorry. Well, there's pressure against the lock bar, but there's also against the stop pin, is what I meant to say. So that just makes sure everything ends up in the right position. Then I'll go ahead and I'll put in these final two here. That should be easy enough. And we go dink and do that. Tighten that down, and we go dink. We put a little thread locker on there. We go dink. I don't even know why we're going dink here, but oh boy. This is Nick, get downstairs. Stop filming. Soon enough, I'm going to be, even more charming than I already am. Let's put it that way. Okay. Oh, yeah, right over here is where I feel that little bit of bumpitude. Like I said, it'll wear in over time. How's the play? There's no play. Centering is pretty damn close. Slightly favoring. It's pretty much there. And the action is better, smoother, harder, faster, stronger. There we go. Alrighty, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm glad this wasn't a Arroyo pain in the butt. Okay, bye now.